Greetings everyone! We are the Group 9 and we are going to present to you the Unit 5 or a teacher as an organizational leader. So first thing, what is leadership? Although leadership has many definitions, let's just focus on these two. Leadership is a broad social process in which an individual or a group influences behavior. A process of social influence in which one person is able to enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task. Leaders ay mga influencers to his followers, guiding them for the betterment of their organization and for achieving their goals. Now, let's discuss the nature of administrative work. So what is it that leaders do? Administer and lead their particular organizations? Yes, but not just that. It involves a more complicated task. A number of studies have used a structured observation approach to describe and provide detailed pictures of what business managers and school administrators do in their jobs. Kyung-A Chung and Cecil Miskill, 1989, summarized the major findings. First, administering schools is feverish and consuming. School administrators work long hours at an unrelenting physically exhausting pace. Sa mahaba at mabilis na pagtatrabaho nila, it's evident na sobrang nakakapagod talaga. Second, school leaders rely on verbal media. They spend a great deal of time walking around the building and talking to individuals and groups. Ginugugol nila yung oras sa pag-iikot sa paaralan para makipag-usap and socialize sa mga tao at ibang organisasyon na parte ng kanilang trabaho. Administrator activities vary widely. Hence, administrators constantly change gears and tasks. Sa dami ng ginagawa, lagi silang merong trabaho na bago na kailangan laging tapusin agad at meron ulit na kasunod. It's like a cycle in their work descriptions. Fourth, managerial work is fragmented. For school administrators, the pace is rapid and precise. Discontinuity prevalent and the span of concentration is short. Ang isang leader o manager ay maraming trabaho. Ito ay nakakabaliw dahil sobrang bilis ng workloads nila. Now let's move forward to the trait approach to leadership. Aristotle taught that individuals are born with inherited characteristics that would make them leaders, and that's the so-called trait approach of leadership. Noong 20th century, ayon kay Bass 2008, ang mga leaders ay karaniwang itinuturing na matataas na tao dahil sa mga inheritance nito, and due to that, they often think that they are different from other people. Until noong 1950s, may mga investigations na sinubukang alamin ang mga katangian ng isang leader na nagsiseparate sa mga pinamahalaan nito. Early trait research, or the pure trait approach, were the view that only traits can determine a leadership capacity. Ralph M. Stockdale, 1948, reviewed 124 trait studies of leadership that were completed between 1904 and 1947. He classified the personal factors associated with leadership into the following 5 general categories. First is capacity, in terms of their intelligence, alertness, verbal facility, originality, and judgment. Second, achievement, in terms of scholarship, knowledge, and athletic accomplishments. Responsibility, in terms of their dependability, initiative, persistence, aggressiveness, self-confidence, and desire to excel. Fourth, participation in activity, sociability, cooperation, adaptability, and humor. And lastly, status in socio-economic position and popularity. Although Stockdale found a number of traits that consistently differentiated leaders from non-leaders, he concluded that the trait approach by itself had yielded negligible and confusing results. However, here's another recent trait study: the perspectives on leadership traits and skills. Despite the lack of success in identifying general leadership traits, these studies use a wider variety of improved measurement procedures, including projective tests and assessment centers, and they focus on managers and administrators rather than other kinds of leaders. Their emphasis on selection focused trait research on the relationship between leader traits and leader effectiveness, rather than on the comparison of leaders and non-leaders. Predicting who will become leaders and predicting who will be more effective are quite different tasks. Hence, the so-called trait studies continue, but they now tend to explore the relationship between traits and leadership effectiveness of administrators in particular types of organizations and settings. However, after the given concepts, identifying effective leadership will be classified into one of three groups. First up is the personality traits. According to Young 2002, 5 personality traits are relatively stable dispositions to behave in a particular way. Number 1. Self-confident. Leaders are more likely to set objectives to attempt achieving challenging tasks and to continue work in the face of problems and losses. Number 2. Stress tolerant. Leaders are likely to make good decisions, to stay calm, and to provide clear direction to subordinates in difficult circumstances. Number 3. Emotionally mature. Leaders are more likely to be realistic about their skills and flaws and they just focusing on improving themselves rather than daydreaming about achievement. Number 4. Integrity. The behavior of leaders are consistent with their stated values and that they are honest, ethical, and responsible in trustworthy. Last, extroversion, meaning sociable, outgoing, and comfortable in groups outside and inside the organization and has self-confidence to present themselves as leaders. Next is motivational traits. Highly motivated leaders are likely to be more effective than individuals with low expectation, modest goals, and limited self-efficacy. First, task and interpersonal needs are two underlying dispositions that motivate effective leaders characterized by their drive for the task and their concern for people. Second, achievement orientation includes a need to achieve, desire to excel, drive to succeed, willingness to assume responsibility, and a concern for task objectives. Third, power needs refers to the motives of individuals to seek positions of authority to bring influence over others. Fourth, high expectations refers to their belief that they can do the job and will receive valued outcomes for their efforts. In short, they have a clear vision. And lastly, self-efficacy, the belief in one's ability to organize and carry out a course of action. They feel confident in doing something or achieving a goal. And the third and last, skills, the skill set to complete a job. Wilk 2002 and Dorthouse 2004 discussed three particularly important categories of skills associated with leader effectiveness. Number 1. Technical. Skills mean bringing specialized knowledge to bear on administrative tasks, such as managing budgets, implementing standard-based accountability, interpreting test results, and supervising. Second, interpersonal. Skills encompass an understanding of feelings and attitudes of others and knowing how to work with people, individual, and cooperative work relationships. Showing clear communication, collaborative relationships, sociability, and tact. And last, conceptual, or the cognitive skills involve the abilities to form and work with concepts, to think logically, and to reason analytically, deductively, and inductively. They most likely to use ideas to analyze, organize, and solve complex problems. As summarized in the table of traits and skills associated with effective leadership, although traits are relatively more stable or fixed than skills, both can be assessed, learned, and enhanced through a variety of methods. And if you are planning to become an administrator, it's important to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses, to learn new skills and enrich the old ones. And that's where you can be an effective leader.
Situation and leadership. The transition from traits theory of leadership to a more situational approach. During the late 1940s and 1950s, the idea that leaders are born with inherent traits was challenged. Researchers like Bass 2008 and Begin 1993 shifted the focus to how specific situations influence leadership behavior and effectiveness. Instead of relying solely on personality traits, they sought to understand how leaders adapt to various circumstances to lead effectively, highlighting the role of context in leadership performances. Behavior and leadership. This explained the early theories on leadership categorized leader behaviors into two groups, which is focusing on people or relationships and focusing on tasks, which is production. The early studies should not be interpreted as universal theories of effective leader behavior. In conclusion, the same style of leader behavior is optimal across all situations is not warranted by Europe 2010. This early study shouldn't be seen as universally effective across all situations. Managerial greed is a well-known universal theory. Effective leaders are high on both production and people's concern by Blake and Newton, 1985. The managerial greed theory suggested that the most effective leaders balance both concern for people and tasks through situational factors impact leaders' effectiveness. Similar term in earlier models such as task or initiating structure by Halpins 1966. Here's the three category framework by Europe 2010. Task-oriented behavior, relations-oriented behavior, and change-oriented behavior. Highlights how leaders must adapt their approach based on context, with task-oriented behaviors often used more than change-oriented ones. In sum, appropriately applying or balancing different types of behavior or varying situation is fundamental to enhancing leadership performance. Leadership effectiveness is evaluated through both objective and subjective measures. In a contingency model, it considers how well leaders meet specific goals and the perception of those they lead. Hoy, Miskel, and Tarter 2013 suggest three outcomes for assessing effectiveness. First, personal other perception of reputation and self-assessment, individual member satisfaction, and organizational goal attainment. In this PowerPoint, evaluation come from leaders, subordinates, peers, and others with respect, admiration, and commitment playing a key role. Leadership effectiveness indicators, which is satisfaction of participant and school goal achievement. Leadership effectiveness include meeting organizational goals, which is the objectives, and ensuring participant satisfaction, which is the subjective.
Contingency model of leadership. Contingency approaches include the four sets of concepts: traits of the leader, characteristics of the situation, behavior of the leader, and effectiveness of the leader. Traits and skills of the leader and characteristics of the situation combined to produce a leader behavior and effectiveness. The contingency theory of leadership styles that effective is contingent upon the situation at hand. Essentially, it depends on whether an individual's leadership style befits the situation. According to this theory, someone can be effective and ineffective leader. This theory ignores the false that someone is either a good or bad leader. Instead, it focuses on matching the right traits to the situation. This theory of leadership accommodates that the reality that success is often a combination of the attributes of the leader and the attributes of the challenge. Good leadership is contingent upon how one responds to the situation. Fiedler's contingency model of leadership. It outlines two strands of leadership: task-motivated and relationship-motivated. Task-motivated refers to task accomplishment, and relationship-motivated refers to interpersonal relationships. Fiedler measured leadership style with the less preferred coworker scale. The latest scoring high on the scale is relationship motivated, and those scoring low is task motivated. Situation control determines by three factors: position power, task structure, and leader-member relations. Position power relates to the amounts of reward, punishment, authority of the leader as other members of the group. Task structure is related to clarity and means to task accomplishment. Leader-member relations deals with general atmosphere and the feelings such as trust, loyalty, and confidence that the group has for its leaders. Fiedler assesses a leader's effectiveness based on how well a group completes a main goal. This could be things like making profit, maintaining low cost, winning competitions, or solving problems. The effectiveness of a leader is decided based on how well the group achieved its objectives. Fiedler's contingency model suggests that a leader's effectiveness based on matching their leadership style to the specific situation they face. Research has tested this idea in various contexts with the mixed results. Some studies support it, while others do not. A key part of this model is the LPC, Least Preferred Coworker score, which means how leaders view their least coworkers. Over time, the meaning of this score has changed, leading to some criticism. Despite its flaws, Fiedler's model was one of the first to explore how different leadership styles work better in certain situations, helping us understand the complexity of leadership.